2000s. The United States was at war in the Middle East. Not a short one. Not a limited one. Wars don't just burn fuel or manpower, they burn inventory. Ammunition was being consumed faster than it could be replaced. Warehouses emptied. Deadlines tightened. To keep the war running, the government needed suppliers who could deliver fast, cheap, and at scale. Speed mattered more than pedigree. Volume mattered more than scrutiny. Urgency became policy. David Pacows lived in Miami. He wasn't a soldier, he wasn't a thief or a terrorist. He worked as a massage therapist, treating wealthy clients, people with money, access, and problems that didn't resemble his own. David listened for a living. He watched success up close without participating in it. He wasn't chasing millions. He was trying to stop falling behind. When an opportunity appeared, it didn't look dangerous. It looked administrative. Ephraim Diveroli was different. Younger, sharper, restless. Where David saw risk, Ephraim saw timing. He understood something early. The government didn't care who you were. It cared whether you could deliver. If you met the requirements on paper, the system accepted you. Ephraim didn't see rules, he saw openings. Together, they registered a company and started bidding. The first contracts were small. Buy from one place, sell to another. The margins weren't clever. They were urgent. As long as shipments arrived, nobody asked many questions. Every contract made the next one easier. The system rewarded compliance, not caution. Money started coming in. Not glamorous money, but steady money. Enough to validate the process. This wasn't fraud. It was procedure. As contracts grew, so did expectations. That's when Henry Girard entered the picture. Girard wasn't loud, he wasn't impulsive, he had experience, contacts in Eastern Europe, access to stockpiles others couldn't reach. Girard didn't sell weapons, he sold reassurance. At one point, while discussing logistics, Girard made a comment that stuck. "Can't wait to get the fuck out of here." David and Ephraim assumed he meant Las Vegas. Las Vegas? Girard shook his head. The United States. It wasn't a joke, it was a mindset. For Girard, borders weren't identities. They were constraints. Most deals remain simple. Point A to point B, purchase, resell, deliver. But scale changes behavior. The first plan followed the rules. Buy from the source. Approved manufacturers, paper slowed things down, licenses stalled, deadlines didn't move, the war didn't slow down. So the paperwork adapted. Some suppliers didn't fit the requirements on paper, others did once the paperwork changed. Not every contract crossed a line, but one did. Boxes were changed, labels removed, origins adjusted to meet expectations. The shipment arrived on time. At home, the war wasn't abstract. David's wife, didn't see margins or contracts. She saw where the money came from. She didn't argue the business, she questioned the direction. She asked him to step away, not eventually. Now. For the first time, David started looking for an exit. Compliance became a formality. Up to this point, everything had been digital. Baghdad made it physical. The contract required presence, oversight, delivery on the ground, dust, convoys, military logistics. This wasn't theory anymore. David didn't belong there, and he knew it. The $300 million contract changed everything. With size came visibility, auditors, investigators, questions that hadn't been asked before. Soldiers noticed markings that didn't match documentation. Photos were taken, reports filed. The system didn't panic, it examined. The ammunition worked. The problem wasn't performance, it was origin. When scrutiny returned, tolerance ended. AEY lost the contract. Ephraim Diveroli was charged with fraud, convicted, sentenced. David Pacuz cooperated, received a lesser penalty. Henry Girard exited the story. The war continued. The system didn't collapse. It corrected itself. This wasn't a story about weapons. It was a story about urgency, about access, about how ordinary people drift into extraordinary consequences. No one was betrayed. They simply stopped being useful. This really happened.